The Waterland Ecosystems Programme is a programme that's intended to answer the question, is sustainable intensification of agriculture possible?
What excites me most about WLE is that we will be working with a broad group of partners.
We've gone out to the field and talked to farmers, men and women, to understand exactly how, as a woman, for example, they would be affected by floods or drought or other types of climatic events.
If you want to encapsulate what WLE is all about, it really focuses on producing more food from less.
The CGIAR Research Program on Water, Land and Ecosystems, WLE, works worldwide in 8 regions where 1 billion of the poorest farmers live. These regions face difficult choices on how to develop because of many factors, including climate change, increased population, and a rapid rise of foreign investment. In many countries, governments have major plans for achieving economic growth through farming and natural resources management. WLE's mission is to examine how these initiatives can be made more environmentally friendly, economically viable, and socially inclusive. It seeks to understand the wider system that farmers operate within and that their livelihoods depend upon.
I would say the unique attributes of WLE is that it's focusing on the fundamental elements of our food production system, namely water, land, and ecosystems.
The Waterland Ecosystems Programme is intending to answer the question, is it possible to meet the burgeoning food demands of the future, to increase the resilience of populations to shocks, all within the limits of the planet's life support systems.
It's one of the few CGIAR programs that works at different scales, from farmer to river basin to region. Researchers not only attempt to understand ecosystem issues, but also social, economic, and political dimensions that shape agriculture decision-making.
Resource recovery and reuse program involves recovery of nutrient, water and energy, which are key for the ecosystem services.
The program looks at urbanization and the value of increasing urban waste in terms of water and nutrients that so far do not feed back into agriculture.
If you look at the trend with urbanization, majority of the poor are going to be living in urban areas. And this program is geared to design business plans that ensures that the redistribution of resources happens for the urban poor.
In the Mekong, hydropower development is one of the key issues. We are trying to look at different ways that water can be used by resettled communities. We've had some successes, for example, the work we've been doing in Laos with the Thun Hin Bun Power Company, where we piloted a livelihood diversification activity, which was looking at rice-fish integration. The company has picked up on this and they are now willing to actually contribute to expanding that livelihood activity.
Africa is a continent which is importing food. It has more than 400 million people who are very poor, and 70% of the poor people live in the rural areas.
Africa is also using less than 4% of its water for agriculture, so there is big potential to increase production through small-scale farming with locally available water resources.
It is important because the irrigated agriculture gives you 3 times yield compared to unirrigated agriculture. And if you get 3 times yield from the same piece of land, obviously your income level is going to go up and alleviate poverty.
Many African governments recognize this potential and are investing in irrigation. WLE investigates how such ventures can ensure sustainability, efficiency, and equity. Farmers play a critical role in the management of natural resources and the sustainable intensification of agriculture.
The biggest challenge, I think, is that we're dealing with no one single solution. Many of the problems that we face are actually driven by human behavior, and that by changing human behavior, you can start addressing the issues.
Well, what's different about WLE? I think for the first time it's really looking across scales and across sectors to also bridge the gap between research and the development decisions which are going to be made to influence the way agriculture looks in the future.
I feel quite optimistic about the future. Really turning the whole process on its head. So the two components, people, ecosystems, become the driving force of this transformation that I believe agriculture globally has to go through.